All right, folks, so the number of homes sold at a loss in Toronto has surged to 7% in the late 2025, and it keeps climbing in 2026. We'll get into some data, we'll get into some losses in 2026. However, the psychology, what most people are expecting, is definitely ridiculous, and it is unlikely that it will happen because the returns that some of those folks are demanding from real estate are completely ridiculous. Like it doesn't make sense. We'll get into that. I would like to touch on the Calgary condo property. Most of you that are following, that are subscribed to the channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and how that affected that particular client in Calgary. But let's get back to the actual strategy, right? Like most people, they had a simple strategy that worked in the past perfectly, I would say, or it made sense, right? Because as soon as we have seen the interest rates go up, obviously it halted the entire real estate market, panic started, and everything else, right? So at that moment, people were kind of grabbing to their real estate portfolio as much as they could because that was their strategy. Since they were kind of, I would say, depending on the historical data, hoping when the real estate comes back, it will come back in a boom, in an extreme, huge wave. Bank of Canada has lowered interest rates 10 times back to back, and that has not impacted our real estate market that much because, like 7% sold at a loss in the late 2025. So most people were banking on their strategy that they will, hold on, they will see the return, everything will kind of pile up, and the prices will be ridiculous. But most folks are forgetting that at that time, like think about it, at the peak, like we have seen a real estate surge to ridiculous pricing, like 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% annually. That is insane, which well, like I had to write this down. Like hear me out for a second. Long-term reality. Check this out. Global stock market long term gives a return annual before inflation between 7 and 10%, after inflation around 5 to 7%. Real estate historically has seen numbers between 3 to 5% returns. Warren Buffett, which it's next level investing, one of a kind, maybe one man on the planet, he's seeing like a legendary 20% returns, and that's not sustainable. Like that 20% return is unsustainable. So what makes you think that real estate will like keep going up to where? Like where's the ceiling? We already hit a massive, catastrophic increase in real estate, which wasn't sustainable at all, right? So now let me move even further. Google, you know of Google, big tech company, has employed or on average has the biggest IQ in the world. All right, if you summarize everybody, right, and they see, right, like not returns, like they cannot see returns of 20 to 30%. So what makes you think a regular citizen or normal person to have those kind of returns? And if you remember my map from back in the day, this is a textbook example of a bull trap. And it's happening. I was saying that 2 3 years ago. Now we're following the graph, and we're probably in the stage of denial, right? And we're passing the stage of denial, and we're getting into the stage of I'm giving up. So the psychology, right? Like people held on for like 2003, 4, 5, and almost 6, right? Like so 3.5, 4 years, most of the people. So what is happening right at the moment is the bottleneck situation. Many folks will have to renew in Canada, right? And that, ladies and gentlemen, will create a huge dent. Why? Because along the way, many folks accumulated a lot of debt, like line of credits, HELOCs, cars, technology. Everybody went through that, I would say, recycling of their items. New watches, new TVs, new phones, new cars, new everything, right? So they just wanted to feel good in, I would say, depressed time, right? Because we were kind of lonely, we were locked up, we had to go through that process. However, that creates a financial hit or a dent. So in order to get out of it, it might take years, might take decades. So what makes you think? And please comment below, like, share and subscribe this video while you're at it. But what makes you believe that the market will bounce back in 2026? I see no, how am I going to say, no evidence of that whatsoever. On top of that, who is investing in Canada right now? Who is investing? We tried immigration in hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people within a short period of time, which created mostly traffic and nothing else, right? So that didn't help the real estate sector. Pre-construction investment sector, it's completely dead. Nothing is happening. Future projects are not in the horizon. Everyone is on hold. Everyone is on pause. Everyone is trying to get rid of it, restructure, right? So how that will work, we don't know, but it might take time. Which brings me to the point of employment. If let's say you are in construction, right? Let me give you an example: electrician, plumber, you install studs, drywall, whatever, right? Framer, bricklayer, etc. So if projects are being postponed 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, you're lost your job basically, right? So you will have to find a replacement income. So yes, most construction work, I have so many buddies, I would give you a high five, you guys work hard. However, it's like, what are you going to do? Most people focus on luxury, custom builds, one of a kind type of thing, like door to door, let me finish your basement and stuff like that. People don't have money. So where are you going to find that income replacement, right? So that's a big issue. So at this point, we are being hit from both sides. Your payments are being increased, your groceries, your insurance, your mortgage payments, and your opportunity to make money, more money, or same money is way less, right? So it brings me to that story in Calgary, that client that listed at first. Let me go back to the peak. Units at the peak were selling between $360,000 and $380,000. All right, that was the price. They didn't sell because they imagined it would continue, and you kind of had that subtle smile, like, don't worry about it. They'll hit 4, they'll hit 450. And in one conversation, I remember they said, well, I'll sell when it hits $500,000, then I'm out. Okay, so let's not calculate the return on the investment because they purchased that unit for 300,000. So at 500,000, that's like like an 80% or 90% increase. I don't have a calculator with me, but you get the point. So fine, they didn't sell. So they listed it last year. Finally, they said no, I'm not giving it less than 325. Right. So we went back. I think we listed it at 325, 329. Not me, my colleague from Calgary. She's doing a fantastic job. She said it's overpriced, but what are you gonna do? Sometimes clients do whatever they want to do. I have nothing to do with that. I was just a bridge between the client here in Toronto that has been my client for years. I don't want to thank him for that. But you know, like, so okay, so 329, 325. So what happened? Reductions. Guess what? They reduced it 3 grand, 4 grand to 325. Then they reduced it to 319. Then the reductions to 300. Then the reductions to 295, 298. And then what happened? They received an offer, and the offer we could have closed at 295. So we were $3,000 or $4,000 off. They declined it firmly. They said, I will get my 298, and even though I have 295 on the table, or that's it. I was begging the guy, and a colleague from Calgary, she was extremely nice and kind, and she's like, listen, like this is one of a kind of a opportunity. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, hear me out. Firm deal. No bank condition, no home inspection, like only starter certificate for condo. Board building is fairly new, so no issues there. So you get the point. Decline, firm decline. We went 48 hours chasing this guy. Okay, please sign. Please, you're making a mistake, right? No, decline. They said, look, I will decline. They will cool off. Within 5 days, they'll come back and we'll get 95. You will see it. I said, okay, fine. You the boss. I mean, you whatever you want. All right. 3, 4, 5 days go by. Guess what happened? The other person bought another condo. They had hundreds of condos to choose from. All right. So they bought obviously from another client at a discount. Now we go further. Now we relist, same price. Nothing happens. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay. So he calls now. Let's do a price reduction. Guess what? 289. Then we had a 280 price reduction, and we finally got a deal done at $270,000 even, with all the conditions, with all the headaches and everything else. So now if you want to really summarize what happened down here, all right, first they had to carry the property for months. We're talking like nearly a year at this point, like 10 months or something like that, right? So 10 months of carrying costs, paying the fees, taxes, maintenance fees, mortgage. Like, people are not taking that into consideration, right? Then the loss, right? The loss from the peak up to now, it's $100,000 plus everything else, which is in tens of thousands of dollars, right? So, like, if you summarize everything, like those losses are significant, right? Significant. So that's why I believe it will even go further down, because to offset or to bounce back the economy, you cannot hit it on one note. You need many notes to create that melody, to create that harmony, to create that, I would say, need or want or desire to invest, to get rid of that fear, to have a proper mathematical structure, to be sure once I invest, my return on investment is X. At this point in Canada, I believe sincerely that mathematical equation is completely lost. I hope you gained some value out of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you all for watching.